Hey, hello again. This video is in response to a couple questions viewers had about the last one, about dirtying up Skyhawks and how they behave when they get good and dirty. And we compared in that video the SimCoder's Rep 172, which is based on the stock X-Plane version, and the A to A Skyhawk in P3D. And at least the conclusion I came to, and it's validated by a bunch of other flying, is that the A to A behaves more realistically when you throw out a whole heap of flaps and you throw the thing into a slip and you try and get down in a hurry without accelerating. Now, a viewer, Pilot Wannabe, correctly pointed out that I didn't control the experiment as carefully as I might have, and when I went into the sharp descent that I went into with this plane, I started at a higher speed, therefore did not give it the same initial conditions on the way down. So what I'm going to do this time is try to make amends for that, and what we'll do is, in this airplane, we will actually go slower than I believe we started our descent in the A to A, just as a control, because in my experience at least, not only is this thing reluctant to go down and respond to all the stuff you've thrown out into the slipstream, it actually picks up speed. So we will try to maintain about a 1,500 foot per minute descent, and we will go in at an initial speed of say 70 knots instead of say 80. So we'll give the airplane every break possible. The other thing we'll do is we will compare this, because I've got nothing but disposable income when it comes to buying fake Skyhawks. We'll compare it to the Airfoil Labs 172, and a little teaser here. It has a quirk, at least in my setup, and perhaps in yours, you might want to check it, that almost utterly disqualifies it, as you'll see in a moment. I found out to my shock and horror. But in the meantime, let's get going with this. What we'll do is we will take off, we'll make a left-hand turn, get back into the left-hand pattern such as it is at this airport, and climb up to about 2,000 feet. We will get very, very close. Holding that 2,000 feet, we will slow down to 70 knots. We will cut the power, drop the flaps, throw ourselves into a slip, and pitch for 1,500 feet per minute and see where the speed ends up. And I will try to make it a little bit more controlled. I suppose you could do this with the autopilot. You couldn't really slip it with the autopilot on, but you could say set 1,500 feet per minute and see whether the airplane accelerates or decelerates. But I'm giving it every possible chance to decelerate. I'm putting everything possible into the air to slow it down. So that'll be full right rudder, full left aileron or close to it to maintain center line, and full flaps. And so let's have at it here. And again, this isn't a commentary really on the other characteristics of this airplane. I happen to like it. The sounds are great. The general handling is great. I don't really like Skyhawks. I'm sort of wildly indifferent to them, but it is certainly enjoyable to fly. Handles nicely, and you know, pitching for about 75 in the climb, discovered that it climbs about 1,000 to 1,100 feet per minute, which all of them seem to do. This is with the experimental flight model off. The airfoil actually was redesigned for the experimental flight model, so we'll switch it on when we do that. We're going to give each model the best possible shot at the best possible performance. Just pitch for 1,100 feet per minute here and see where the speed ends up. The electric trim on this airplane is slow. It's slow in real life. It's slow in the model. So we'll just trim up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, it's about 1,100 feet per minute. About 72 knots. No, I'm sorry, it's about 69 knots. Okay. It's within the margin of error, I suppose. All right, we'll turn downwind now. And it really has a crap load of left turning tendency. And I'm not sure that that's unreasonable. All right, away we go here. Climb up to 2,000. Now I'll just cut this leg. Well, I won't cut it that short because the perils of flying a slow airplane. We haven't even made it past the threshold of our the runway we departed from. The runway whence we departed. So I'm going to pull the power back just a touch so I don't fry this tender little Lycoming. The plane hand flies very nicely. Without the experimental flight model, it is a little bit nose bobby, which the experimental flight model is supposed to cure, ameliorate. Boy, you know, if it had been Ameliorate Earhart, she would have made it to Solomon Island, I think, but it was just regular Amelia, and she screwed the pooch. Poor Fred Noonan. Well, Fred Noonan with the aid of Jim Beam, but other than that. All right, so this is where we're at, as it were. Let's see now where we are. Just remember, you are what you is. Never forget that. Okay, I'm going to start to slow us down so we're not too close and too fast. Hell, just come right off the power here. This, again, is Orbix NorCal. Looks great. Except for the Oakland Bay Bridge, and I think that's my problem with an installation here. All right, let's see where we are. I'll make my normal shitty turn to final. I know I should use track IR or something like that. All right, we're slowing down now. Airplane just wafts around in the breeze at this speed. I don't know why I don't like high-wing Cessnas. It's probably just because of my height. I always find myself having this in my way whenever I've been in one. All right, so hang on. Gotta slow this down a little bit here. Okay, nose up. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Maintain our altitude. Okay, so there is 70. So out can come the flaps, all of them. Let the thing balloon a little bit. And we'll throw it into a slip here. And we'll pitch for 1,500 feet per minute. Because we really do want to go down. Introduce a little more nose down. There we go. All right, that's about 1,500 feet per minute. And you can see we're at 80. And now we're a little bit more than 80. And you can see we're now at 85. And again, I'm basically in as full a slip as I can get in right here. And we're pushing 90 now. It's not uncontrollable, it's not unpredictable, it's not awful. It just ain't right. And as you'll see, when we take the slip out, it really is reluctant to slow down. Okay, there's 80, and it's 700 foot per minute descent. Just trim that out a little bit. And again, this is throttle closed. And just look at it go and go and go. It is really like the Energizer Bunny here. All right, so there we are. And that is that. Now let's switch into the airfoil labs here, and you'll see an interesting quirk that it's got. Other than the fact that almost any landing you attempt in it, it makes this whacking, smacking sound that it sounds like a bad movie sound effect of somebody. You expect a little animation to spin up on the screen that says biff or pow. So first things first, we'll switch to the experiential flight model. And then we'll switch to the airfoil labs, and you'll see, well, you won't, I'll put it up on screen, but you lose about 10 frames doing it, but nobody's perfect. It's a very nice plane, and it's got the crappy King autopilot instead of the crappy S-Tech autopilot in it, which I kind of like better. They're both awful. And over the decades, they've confused a lot of pilots and killed one or two. All right, so start this baby up. Quick start. Auto start. There we go. It's got very nice sounds.
The engine seems ideally primed.
It talks to you. You know, how can you beat that? All right. Look at that. It even starts up our avionics for us. There we go. We're squawkulating right. Our lights are close enough for jazz. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Flaps are up. Trim is, see, look at how slow it moves, but it's okay. Set a little bit nose up trim here. And let's go off to the races. This has got less left turning tendency. And it's a little bit less nose happy. Oh, we've got same amounts of fuel in both, by the way. All right, so here we go. Let's go flying. It's a lot easier to finesse in the pitch axis, as you can see. You can fly it more gently, I suppose you'd say. All right, let's get our asses up. And I think its left turning tendency is a little bit better. You can see it's a little draggier. You see we're going about 65 instead of about 70 something in a climb. And if I pitch for, let's see, pitch for about 70, I mean, it gets us a little bit close to where we were. You can see the vertical speed. However, if I chop the power, the speed decays much quicker. So we won't do that. And actually, if you were to lose power like that, what you really should do, the correct maneuver, should be to really unload yourself very quickly. So it would be more along the order of this. So at least you'd maintain airspeed, as you can see right there, and maintain maneuverability. But that's not our exercise today. And besides, that's better done in a real airplane because you can feel you can feel negative G's. You can feel your gorge rise a little bit, and that's part of the fun of it. It's like coming over the top of a roller coaster. All right, I'm still climbing too slowly. But this seems to have a more realistic response to drag, power loss, and things like that. It accelerates a little more slowly, and it decelerates a little quicker. And because of the experimental flight model, you can see that when I input pitch commands, it pitches up and down in a more fluid, a more damped fashion, I suppose you'd say. And apparently that's one of the little things that that Austin was working on. So,
Unable to find view
oh,
ID
that's right, I don't have any views set up here. All right, so where are we? All right, again, we'll level out at 2,000, trim out. Let's just see what the airplane will do. Cut power to just slightly to a sort of maximum cruise. Takes a bit more retrimming than the Simcoders. Matter of fact, oh, that's better. Things better done by hand. You know, it's painfully slow. That can be adjusted in PlaneMaker if you want. I'm sure somebody's actually measured it in real life. It's not fast, but it's not debilitatingly slow either. All right, a little high here, or higher than even I should be. And you can see the nose down that's required to fly at the top of the green arc. It is not inconsiderable. Start to slow down now. But again, in this airplane, with the experimental flight model, you can place the nose with a lot more precision, and it does feel more like a real plane. In a Piper Arrow, when you're going about this speed, and you sort of put in, not a jerky full deflection, but you put a sort of firm sweeping pull like that, that's about how the nose rises. You know, I mean, different plane obviously. So, you know, I think they're certainly on the right track here. I don't know what you'd call that, a determined pull, I suppose. Let's just come down a little bit. I mean, we're in the same ballpark, and you'll see what happens here. It won't be surprising. There will be a gotcha. At least there was when I tried it, just experimentally or experientially, and I found myself hosed. All right, so here we are again, back in the same old ballpark here. It's going to slow down. We'll again creep up on it. Again, we'll chop the power. We'll dirty ourselves up. We'll get in a slip, and then we will pitch. We'll pitch for 1,500 feet per minute and see where the speed lands. Boy, this scenery does look good. This is the world's slowest turn to final, by the way. That golf course is apparently a big landmark for ATC, for pilots. All right, there, we're at 2,000. Let's get ourselves slowed. Slow to 70. I do like the way this flies. This feels good, but you'll see the gotcha in a second. Okay. 70 there. Okay, out can come the flaps. In can come the slip. And we will pitch for 1,500 feet per minute. Oh wait, we can't pitch for 1,500 feet per minute. We don't have the elevator authority. And yet we have way nose down trim. Okay, I'm at full down deflection here, and as you can see, we're going down at 700 feet per minute, and we're full nose down trim. I cannot make this airplane go down any faster than this. Now, we're not picking up any speed, but we are, again, full deflection, and full nose down trim. And as you can see, you know what? Let's get our deflection up here and just see whether there's, I don't know, something wrong with the flight model or something wrong with elevator deflections. There we go. All right, now, again, I've got the yoke full forward, and I've got the rudder at full deflection, and the elevator at full deflection, and we ain't going down. So, in order to land this thing now, we're going to have to take a little more distance here. And now I'm in an absurdly also nose down trim condition, which is going to make it hellish to flare. I'm working in as much nose up trim as I possibly can now. Trying to buy a little time here. There we go. So, handles nicely, but no elevator authority. Should report it to the improper authorities here. All right, so here we go. Chop the throttle, and you can see it slows down nicely. And you notice, great landing, but thwap. It gives me a thwap for that. Rat bastard. So anyway, unless I've done something egregiously wrong, that's just awful. It ain't right, but anyway, we'll leave it at that. Please weigh in the comments in case anybody knows better than I do, which could very well be everybody. So if the answer is everybody or even somebody, please let me know, and I'll tweak and we'll do it again. I want to like this plane. It's feels good, feels like it's got a heartbeat. It's kind of nice, but it don't seem to fly right. Anyway, see you all again real soon, and I really mean it this time. I will see you again real soon. So thanks as always for watching, and everybody have a good new year. Bye-bye.